I've spent a few minutes up here chatting with these folks, and they are hilarious. So I am sure that this presentation is going to be absolutely amazing. So Katie, Erin, and Abbie, I'm really looking forward to your presentation. Thank you.
All right. Good morning, everybody, and how are you all? So slightly hungover. Okay, got it. Welcome to the Big Bang of Security Awareness. If you purposely came in here, thank you. We appreciate it. If you stumbled in here by accident, tough shit, you're stuck here. Doors closed. So sorry.
There's a lot.
I do need to throw it out. So recently, my allergies just decided to punch me in the face, and my left eye starts twitching occasionally. When that happens, I am not winking at you.
She's winking at you.
I might be winking at you, to be determined. With that said, my name is Katie Hoff. I started out in nursing and ended up in cyber. I got into cyber because I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up, and the Navy told me I was too blind to join. And for fun, I enjoy sports ball activities.
Hi, I'm Erin Reese. I have been in technology for 20 plus years, most of that in some semblance of cybersecurity. And I've focused specifically on incident response and security awareness for about the last 10 years. Outside of work, I actually hate technology. I'd rather be outside running, walking, hiking, biking, paddleboarding, spending time with my tiny person.
I'm Abbie. Okay, kidding. I actually do like to make my boss super, super uncomfortable. So I might do a few of those throughout this presentation. So I am actually Abbie, though. I didn't lie about that. I've worked with these two amazing women for the last 5 years, primarily focusing in threat detection and threat prevention. But I do get to tip my toe in the red team side of things, and I'll get to talk about some of the things that I do here today. Outside of work, I love all the animals, big or small. I love them all. I need my fur babies. So with that, our legal team said, yeah, you can talk about what you do here. But we're going to cut off your digits if you don't do a disclaimer. So I'm going to read you the disclaimer here. So while we're using examples of our work from Walmart Blue Cross and Blue Shield, any opinions we talk about today, it's Katie, Abbie, and Erin's opinion. Throughout our presentation, you're going to see different third-party tools or vendors that we've incorporated into our security awareness program. We don't get any kickbacks for giving them props. We've just found success with using those tools, so we wanted to share that with you today. So with that boringness out of the way, hey, Katie, why? Why bother? I mean, security awareness isn't that important, right?
So because we are the second presentation, I wanted to make this audience interactive. And since I know half of you are awake, how many of you do some sort of security awareness today? Give me a couple shout outs. What do you do? Okay. Nobody looks up. Anybody? Lunch and learns. Awesome. Okay. For those of you that didn't raise your hand, did you not raise your hand because your arm is tired or because you're just not quite into the security awareness thing? All right, we're glad you're here. So Erin is going to tell us why it is important that we all bother with security awareness.
All right, so I hope if you're here today, it's because you want to bother with security awareness. I think everybody should bother with security awareness. I think it's worth it for everybody, and there's a couple of reasons why. First, what's in it for me, or really what's in it for you and your teams when you go back home? Do you enjoy working cybersecurity incidents caused by your users?
Abbie kind of does a little bit.
Shut up.
It's game day.
I don't. I hate it. I mean, you look at research, I'll reference Verizon's last year DBIR report. Their pool of incidents that they looked at, 82+% were caused directly or indirectly by a person. So whether they disclosed data directly, they clicked on a fish, they misconfigured something, they didn't patch something, people inside of the organization were responsible for 82% of the data breaches that they surveyed. That's ridiculous. We can help them. It's worth it for us because then we can spend our time working on other security initiatives, that don't impact the users. Next, the risk. Duh. I mean, we all have to manage the risk. The users are our number one risk. So if we take the time to teach them the things that they need to do to report the phishing, to encrypt the emails, to encrypt the files, to read the policies and understand what they can and can't do, we're doing ourselves a favor. Again, going back to research, IBM's cost of a data breach report from last year. Organizations that have a security education, security awareness function, every data breach they experience costs them $250,000 less. So I take that number from that report every year and I put it on my performance review and I say, I saved you at least $250,000 this year. Where's the money? But it's reality. Every breach is going to cost a significant amount of money. Why make it a little bit less by educating your users? It's worth your time to teach them how to do those things. Somebody mentioned audit earlier. A lot of people are subject to regulation where you have to train your users at least once a year. You've got to have that annual security training. Why not make it worthwhile? Why not make it something that helps them help you, right? Last, raise the tide of all ships. I think as security professionals, as technology professionals, that is our responsibility. We all can do something to take away the boogeyman of cybersecurity. People are very intimidated by technology, by cybersecurity, by the things they don't know. We can sit down with them, meet them where they are, teach them the things that they need to know in their personal lives to understand security better, to be more secure people. That way, when they show up at work, they are more secure right away and doing the right things and helping us and not causing data breaches. I think there's something that everybody in the workforce can be engaged by. There's something that you can do to catch their attention, and it's just trying new things and figuring out what will actually work. So come along with us as we travel through space and time and our 6-year journey of evolving security awareness from something that really wasn't even a function at our organization, these kind of beginning atoms of knowledge into this huge expanding universe of content, events, and experiences that help our users manage our security risk.
So how it all started. For us, it started with 2 teams. We had identity access management and operations/architecture, all combined into one, who reported to one director. Our security awareness consisted of a paragraph in the monthly technology newsletter that probably got filed in the circular bin. And our security training was a small section in the annual compliance training. And then we hit our first growth spurt. And this is like the junior high. Did Katie grow 6 inches growth spurt?
If Katie grew 6 inches, she would have been in the Navy.
Possibly. By the way, that never was wondered about me if I grew 6 inches, because that just straight up did not happen. Our team expanded. So remember, we had 2 originally, now we're up to 5, and 1 business liaison. I know there's 6 boxes up there. And they all reported to the 4-letter position of CISO. So with more people, that meant more ideas, more opportunities. Security training. We got our very own. We're no longer part of compliance. It was small, it was basic, but it was ours. To go with this team growth and this shiny new training, we got Security Awareness Week, something that we hosted. Themes, slogans were thought up, printed out, hung around the building in obnoxiously bright colors. If you're colorblind, it's a neon greenish and a purple with a hint of orange in there.
If they're colorblind, they don't know what colors are.
Fine, it's gray, and maybe purple. I'm sorry. To go with all of this Security Awareness Week stuff that we're doing, we had to get new swag. Oh, happy Security Awareness Week. Have a pen. You're going to get some coffee? Let me give you this mug to put it in. Taking notes? Have a notepad. We were the Oprahs of security awareness swag. We also hosted our first ever CTF. It was a 6-hour, 1-day event, and it was actually enterprise-wide. We had people from contracting come down, customer service, claims, and of course, technology. At the end, we had some people go home very happy because they got some shiny new hardware, some custom-made number coins that were assigned to each person. Some people went home a little bit sad, but they had some newfound knowledge, and the rest of us just went home exhausted. But it was 100% worth it because it was something that people looked forward to next year.
All right, so now things are starting to heat up. The team's starting to grow. We're moving on. I actually joined the organization at the beginning of 2018 after a little delay joining. And so I came from a much, much larger organization that had a very established security awareness program that I worked on in that, and then I also participated as a victim. And so I was very excited when I came to the organization, like, what can I do? How can I get involved? Because I believe in it. I believe in security awareness for all the reasons I told you in that first slide. So kind of got in and got my feet wet, see what everybody's doing. And the first thing that I really wanted to do was establish a phishing assessment program. The organization had done kind of sporadic phishing tests previously, but there wasn't an ongoing assessment program. So I worked with one of my coworkers who's sitting in the back today, and we put together a custom-built solution. We didn't buy one. We spent, I think, 15 tops dollars to put this together and create a phishing assessment. Sent that out to the organization and looked at the data when we got it back, and it became rapidly apparent to us that the first thing that we really needed to do was create the easy button. One click to submit the phishing emails that didn't exist in our organization before 2018. Working together with a cross-functional team, we got this out in about 90 days. We worked with our communications and marketing team to let the users know about the button, how it works, what happens when you submit, and then also told them about the phishing assessments. We're going to be doing this. It's going to be routine. You should submit these. Tell us about when you get a suspicious email, whether you think it's from us or not. This button made a huge, huge difference. By the second phishing assessment after we'd put out the button and told everybody about why you should tell us about phishing email and why it's important, we went from a 6% report rate in the first quarter to a 25% report rate in the second quarter. In the 5 years since then, we've only dropped below 25% 2 times. We've topped out at 48%, so that's the number that everybody's trying to beat every quarter when they get their phishing out. And we average 31% across all of our phishing assessments for reporting. Communicating to people, telling people why it's important, why they need to work with us, turns around, it comes back to us because not only do they do a great job reporting our phishing assessments, our employees report 40 plus phishing campaigns to us each month. So we see the real risk being reported from this. I was like, okay. So back then we were all in the office all the time. We had to dress business casual. I was not allowed to wear my butt stuff t-shirt to work. Unless I had a sweater over it. But our leadership loved to use casual days to announce any kind of like positive accomplishment or anything that was going on or holidays, so that sort of thing. So I figured this out. I figured out who to get a hold of, and we put in a casual day for literally everything. Did we do better this quarter on phishing than last? Casual day. Did I read a report about the industry performance, but we do better? Casual day. Is it security week? Casual day. Anything where security could be the reason that the workforce was getting a casual day, I put it in. Again, we continued with Security Week this year because of the work that had been done in 2017 with the CTF, with the swag that they've been handing out. People were now expecting something to happen and expecting there to be things. So we'd had more presentations. We had coffee in the lobby to get people's attention on the first day, hand out little schedule, gave out more swag. I think we're using up the stockpile, but we got even more stuff, but then also handed out little like gift certificates to our internal cafes and convenience stores because people love free food. All right, so now we're coming into 2019 and things are really starting to grow and get bright. So let's move into doing more. At the beginning of 2019, I had a conversation with my boss right here, and I said, we can do more. We can do more. There's so much I want to do. And he said, okay, do whatever you want to do. As long as you've got time for it, I support it because I believe in security awareness. Thank you, sir. So I very much believe that if you want to see something done, you volunteer to do it. Nobody's going to push back on you if it's a good idea. And so that's exactly what I did. I had volunteer for this. I have good ideas. Let's do this. Put stuff out there. One of the things, because I was willing to volunteer to do things, I got asked to update that annual training that Katie had mentioned earlier that had come back to us. And because I was, giving them my time, I was handing over my time and volunteering my time, and said, hey, do you mind if I, kind of zhuzh this up and add some more content? This is kind of weak. And of course, they were like, well, if you're going to do the research, go right ahead. So I did the research, I drafted the content, I designed the slides, and guess what? It's twice as long as it was before. But it was really important. And because I did that and because I volunteered that, I got to know people. Well, because of those people that I knew, I was able to contribute security content to newsletters that go out to our members or our customers, and also to our internal workforce, just because I was, creating those relationships. I also volunteered our team, whether they wanted to or not, to do ad hoc training anytime there was a relevant threat or something that we needed to communicate out to, like the finance team, the people who are on the phones, people on help desk. Hey, let's sit down for an hour. We'll do a custom presentation. You can ask us questions. We'll tell you all about the things that you need to be looking for every day to protect yourselves. Or if a team said, hey, we're really interested in learning more about X. Hey, we'll come. I'll get Abbie to do a presentation. We'll have a really good time for an hour. This got our team in front of people so that they know our faces, they know our names, and we are their security professionals. They know that they can just get onto Teams or send us an email and be like, hey, you were talking about this thing. Can you help me with this too? Makes us that contact.
Take a number.
Yeah, we do. We get those little meat market number things. All right. So our phishing assessments were continuing on and our team was growing. So we had a lot more people that could contribute to our phishing assessment design. So everybody started taking a rotation in, gave us a lot more ideas. Of course, you could spread the work around a little bit more. But it really gives you such a great perspective when you can include more people in the design of those phishing campaigns. We continue to really promote positive responses. We want people to report. We're going to give you your little recognition. We're going to give you your little fish trophy that you can put on your desk. We actually added an honor this year. We call it the Master Angler Award. So if you report all 4 phishing emails in a year, you get the Master Angler Award. Looks like this. And we had these really cool custom-made challenge coins that we had done for the people who won that award. We weren't able to give them out, but that's another story for a little bit later. Our security week continues to grow this year. And again, not only is our team growing, the whole security team is growing. So we had a whole bunch more people on the planning committee. This diverse group gave us a lot more people to, accomplish more. We were able to do more. People were looking for more. So this year we really focused on hands-on security. How can we get people to put their hands on security? So if you're touching the security, you're not afraid of it. It's not like, you don't want to touch it. If somebody's there helping you, you're going to be less afraid. We can take away that boogeyman. So we still did the things that worked. We still did the CTF. We still did the coffee in the lobby to get out the schedules. We still gave out tons and tons of swag. But one of the biggest products we had this year was this security experience that was kind of an open house style room or whatever, where people could come when they had 15 or so free minutes, stop by. We'd printed off these huge phishing emails on our plotter, and people would take Post-it notes and put it on all of the red flags that would tell them that this was a phishing email. We had a password checker where people could enter in pretend passwords and see the time it would take to crack them. And it really surprised them that passwords they thought were good were not good. And we did give them a list of passwords to try And we asked them not to use their own passwords, but I make no guarantees there. But it was, getting people to sit down, connect with a knowledgeable security person, do something interesting, something surprising, and make that connection so that they know who security is. Again, we're establishing ourselves as the go-to people for them. Okay. Oh, so at the end of 2019, there was a reorg in our department, and security awareness came to our team and specifically came to me. So I'm now responsible for security awareness. So now it's like game on. We're in charge. We've got a really supportive leader that's here to help us, that's here to enable us, maybe. Let's let loose next year. All right, so now we're coming out of the dark ages. It's 2020. It's the year of our security awareness dreams. And, everything's starting to kind of like take shape. Our little universe is coming together and we've got all these ideas. But, just as the year gets started, our development is threatened by comets and meteors and solar winds. And, instead of letting...
They paid attention. We didn't think you'd get it. Good job.
It took them a while to get it when I wrote it.
Yeah.
All right. But so instead of letting these things destroy our growth, we're going to let them, push our evolution in a different direction. So there are going to be dinosaurs that are going to die in all of this chaos. But, we're going to come out of it with some new and unexpected growth in our universe. So first, we're one of those organizations that has to do annual training every year. It is required for us from a regulation standpoint. So guess what? I'm going to redo it again this year. And now that it's mine and I don't have to ask anybody's permission about what to put in there, I took the old stuff and threw it away. And I started completely from scratch with a whole new outline, complete comprehensive security topics. Really went to town. And I tapped my relationship with training and marketing to get diagrams and graphics and make it look good. So it's different, it's engaging, people are learning from it. Speaking of training, early on in the year, I kind of tested that new relationship with those guys and said, hey, why isn't security a part of new hire training? Why aren't we touching our new hires their first week and giving them security information that they need to know in this organization? And surprisingly, or unsurprisingly, everybody thought that was a great idea. And so again, because I volunteered to put together the content from our annual training and kind of some other essential security information that I thought people needed right away, we had 45 minutes with every single new hire when they came to our company by the end of Q1. And this made such a difference. I don't think I go a single class where I don't have somebody reach out to me afterwards and ask a question, ask for some additional information. Can you point me in the right way? Thank you very much. All of that thing. First week that they're there, they know who to go to if there's a security problem. And before we weren't doing that, and people were kind of having to fumble around. So now we're arming people with that knowledge immediately when they walk in the door. Okay, so speaking of Q1 2020, the monster meteor of COVID strikes, and our workforce, 99% of them are 100% remote now. So we had these gigantic, grand, beautiful plans for Security Week that involved everybody being in the office and doing all these amazing, cool things. And that plan had to go out the door, and we had to start from scratch. We knew we were going to have to deliver a 100% digital experience to our workforce. But we're not sure how to do that. This, I'm sure everybody can kind of flash back in your own mind to these trying times. Everybody's working crazy. You've got kids at home. You've got, the news that's just, messing with your brain, and there's cybersecurity crime and everything that you've never even heard of before. And how do you get somebody to take even 5 minutes of their day to pay attention to my stuff? when they've got all of this other stuff going on. And we were like, you know what, we've got to call in some help. So first, we looked to our internal partners that we've been working with. We've been building that relationship for years and years and years. Communications, marketing, hey, can you guys help us? Well, we're a healthcare company in the middle of COVID, so we didn't have a whole lot of internal resources that were available. But our marketing partners were like, hey, we think this is important. We want to help you, but we can't help you. Here's an external marketing partner. They're going to come in and they're going to give you a hand on this. So we brought in this external marketing partner to help us develop this all online experience for our workforce, and it worked out perfectly. We came up with like a calendar of these thematic days, and each day included articles and like activities that they could either download or print, a video with tips that were personal tips. It wasn't like, when you're at work, make sure you throw your bad, stuff in the shred bin. This is, at home, make sure you've got your router configured right because you're working at home and your kids are at home, and this will help you perform better. We did a daily presentation and recorded that so that even if people couldn't attend it live, they could watch it later on and have access to it on their own time. We weren't allowed to do any promo items. We couldn't send out the swag, which is usually, how we kind of attract people. So we had to really lean on making things interesting and relatable and helping people be better. With our external marketing partner, one of the maybe kind of unexpected benefits that we got from them is they are not cybersecurity people. They were scared consumers, just like most of our employees. They actually gave us a ton of ideas that they're like, I'm really concerned about this personally. Maybe you guys should address that. And we're like, brilliant. Yes, we should address that because we want to be able to, address those fears that every person has. So in addition to all of the other work, our Capture the Flag, these guys had to create an online experience. They were used to being able to be live with, computers set up, and they had to quickly shift and pivot and create a new experience. But again, unexpected outcome of that, instead of it being a very limited time, 6-hour experience, they were able to make it available for like 72 hours round the clock because we weren't limited to when people could be in the building. Had more participation, got great feedback. This year, Security Awareness Week gets noticed despite the trying times. So we were worried that people wouldn't even click on our articles. We ended up getting great feedback that, hey, we really helped kind of make people feel more comfortable, in a time where there is not a lot of comfort.
Woohoo, we're done. We got through another year and the COVID year, right? That really sucked, but we did it. We're getting user interaction, even at home. So that's hard. But now we're stepping into year 2. It felt like year 6. I mean, I'm pretty sure 1 year of COVID is like 2 or 3 human years, kind of like dog years, right? So what are we going to do? Security training. Erin likes to add stuff. So we added all training for anyone that has a privileged access account. So if you have an admin account in our org, you get to sit down with our security officer and you get to hear just because you can doesn't mean you should. And the best practices of using, those accounts. And even better yet, from a security perspective, what happens if you don't follow our rules? Spoiler alert. Bye. But it's transparency, right? If they know what to do and what not to do, then they're not going to be surprised when they're getting walked out the door. We also decided we have this platform. We have a whole week where everyone's listening to us. So why don't we engage our people? One of the things that's so hard, and I know you guys have it too. Woo, blinded by the light. Okay. So you guys have it too. Security training. No one wants to take it. Yes, it's 10 to 15 minutes, but we're always pulling teeth to get them to take it. So we're like, hey guys, take the training this week. You get a prize. 1 in 5 shot, 1 in 25 shot. It doesn't matter. They have a shot to win a prize. They're going to interact with your stuff. So just keep that in your mind when you're trying to gain that user interaction. We also decided we need more videos and presentations. But what we did this year was in these videos, like Erin said, we want to take that boogeyman, right, out of cyber. We want them to know we're humans too. Not all of us, okay, one of us is scary, but the rest of us are very approachable people, right? So let's put ourselves in front of that camera so they know who they're talking to, right? So that's exactly what we did. And then CTF, we went hybrid. So we decided we didn't. Well, Mark decided halfway through the year, hey guys, if you want to come back to work, come on back. So Erin's like, barred the doors, absolutely not, putting chains on the windows, you're not getting me back to work for nothing, right? But for those people that really want that interaction, we gave it to them. So now we have the remote CTF, and we have, if you're on-prem, come on in, we'll interact with you. So the one thing to make your security awareness program successful, right? What do you got to do? You got to touch them all. So you have to find those users when they're remote. You have to find those users when they're in person. You've got to be able to reach out and get their attention. So like Erin said, we love our phishing, and we absolutely love giving out awards and recognition. So we had our digital badging program that we brought in this year. What was super awesome is we made that challenge coin for those master anglers. Unfortunately, may or may not have contained lead paint. So we're all adults. We shouldn't put things in our mouth, but we couldn't risk that, right? So we made a digital badge for that. So just because, COVID with all of the weird stuff, we made sure that we could still get that recognition out. But what about all those people that fail? That's the risk, right? The people that continually fail time after time after time. So we're like, hey, we got to do something about this. So we introduced the hatchery. Yes, I know, we're nerds. We like the phishing theme, but it's okay. So what the hatchery does is it's a limited internet access group. So we put them in that group, and what it does is completely allow listed environment. You want to go to the internet? It's probably blocked, but it's going to only be work-related sites. It allows us to limit that risk while they're getting retrained on what not to click on, safe internet browsing practices, while we can make sure that our data is still safe, right? So, hey guys, another successful year. We keep raising that bar. Our boss keeps going, guys, you keep raising the bar. How are we going to do it again next year? But we know what's resonating with the people. We know they love the videos. They love seeing our faces. So we're like, hey, let's do a series. Check. We'll do that next year. And then we realized, you want to know what's not getting cheaper? Keep adding things, security awareness. So remember, it's hard to ask for money, right? People have budgets. It's not an endless budget. You don't need $1 million to put on a successful security awareness program. But what we do, and I do, that was not planned. But we do in cybersecurity is a lot of data. So don't forget to take that data, save it as metrics, right? Use those metrics. Show that your security awareness program is decreasing that click rate. It's increasing that report rate. You're reducing the risk at your org. That's how you get the money. Shh. Don't tell them I told you the secret, but take it back and use it against them, right? All right, so we're planning for 2022. What are we going to do? We don't know what's going on. COVID's never ending, so we're just going to plan this thing hybrid, right? So we're going to take a look back at how we all started. Something is better than nothing. In 2018, kind of the first year, right, that cybersecurity kind of got involved in cybersecurity awareness training, we had something every day. Coffee. Everyone loves coffee. So we get to hand out, the swag. We get that face-to-face interaction. And we're like, okay, how can we up this? Bam. 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 That's okay. I'll double bam again. Try it again. There we go. All right. So not only do we have, 1, 2, up to 6 things a day that these people can do. And guess what, guys? It wasn't that hard. I know it sounds crazy, but it's not that hard. So what do? We reassess. We know, okay, about 6 months into 2022, we got, Abbie was so excited. I know you guys might think I'm crazy. I was waiting for the day since March 2020. We get to return to work. It might only be 3 days a week, but we're coming back, baby, right? Anyone want to guess what Erin did?
I stayed home.
She ripped up the training and she redid it again.
I did it.
Yeah. So she completely revamped the training again, which is great, right? Because new content, relevant content, that's what we need. We also had our hybrid CTF. It's one of the things that our people really, really love. And we also added our videos and articles. We revamped our articles, made sure that they were relevant. And in our videos, we had special guests, and we even had our CISO. Anytime you can get an officer to stand in front of a camera and say, "What's the matter, champ? Click on that link again," or you have your analysts literally climbing out of a pond because they got fished, people are going to get that buy-in, right? Get it entertaining. It's great. I promise. They're going to like it. We also decided, we have all these videos, we have all these articles. We can put them on our intranet site, but we're not the only ones that get a post there. The entire org does. So we made our own site. Why not? We get to do the content, and what's the best part about it is for 365 days a year, not just that 1 week, we have a platform to communicate to our users. And then Erin, because she likes to be super popular, is the most popular person in our new employee orientation now. She brings us swag box. Subscription's not available. But everyone loves things, right? And if you can sit there and have a coffee cup on your desk and you going through your email, that's all it takes for someone to be like, ooh, I need to slow down. I need to make sure that link that I'm clicking isn't Abbie phishing me again. All right, but you know what? We have a whole bunch of new stuff we're going to add, but I really feel like we're missing something. Erin, what are we missing?
Man, I feel like this needs a brand, a mascot, something. So we decided that we need to do a little bit of marketing 101. And I went to our marketing partners and said, hey, can you guys come up with some concepts that we can brand our security awareness stuff with, and then carry that concept into a video series? And they came up with like a half dozen ideas for us. And we took a vote throughout our entire team to get a bunch of input. And the winning concept was sock puppets. Really? Sock puppets? Yeah, sock puppets. So these are our sock puppet guys. I know not everybody is going to have a marketing partner that you can invest in to come up with ideas, but you also have Jim's not happy about staying upright. You also have super creative people hidden all throughout your organization. You can create a contest, get people to submit ideas. You can come up with something just as genius as sock puppets. So I will fully admit that I sort of questioned the sock puppet idea at first, but it's my job to be the cheerleader of security awareness. So I'm all in. I'm selling this sock puppet stuff. We're going to put it on everything. So we put it on everything. All of our swag, our badges are branded with it. All of our security awareness stuff is sock puppets. We put it in our bathroom. Hey, don't forget to wash your hands. Don't click on phishing. All of our swag says, sock puppets on it. And shockingly, people love puppets. I was really surprised at the response. There is absolutely nothing like seeing a group of grown-ass adults sitting around a bin, cutting and gluing and making their own little sock puppets. This is Novelty. She's my sock puppet. She spells it with an I. So it really reaffirmed that we were onto something. We hit that retro core memory of our workforce with the sock puppets that reminded them of Sesame Street or whatever. It got so popular, our CIO actually asked our marketing partner to make a custom sock puppet of him over there in the corner. That's what he looks like. It really does look almost exactly like him. And I actually want to feature him in our season 2 with a cameo of his actual sock puppet. Speaking of our CIO, I think that the sock puppet and the branding for our campaign made him a believer in security awareness. Not that he was not supportive before, but he became so much more supportive when there was something solid about our security awareness. He would go to meetings and talk about our sock puppet socks. Right here. This is my boss's feet right here. He would talk about these socks to other senior leaders, to his entire department, his entire organization. We actually ran out of those socks because people would come to us and they're like, we heard about these socks. We've got to have these socks. He started talking about security awareness so much more because we were giving him something that he could really talk about, and it was easy to talk about. We gained so much from branding and branding with puppets. Number one, when you see something out on the intranet or whatever that comes through the sock puppet, they immediately know, hey, this is security and it's probably going to be interesting and fun because everybody loves puppets. Whoops. But the other thing, you know, and especially thinking back to the other concepts that we were initially looking at, when you have to communicate something that's sort of difficult or could be, you know, potentially like, you know, touchy, when you're doing it with a sock puppet, it's a lot easier. So when you're telling people, hey, don't do that thing, if the hand is telling you, it's a little bit easier to take it than if it's from me, you know, as a person lecturing you. So I really think that, you know, just having that premise to communicate concepts to people in kind of a fun way. You know, we talk about, you know, scams and stuff. Poor Jim got scammed by a quote unquote lady named Argyle, and had, you know, he lost a whole bunch of personal information and money. You know, it's a lot easier to talk about it when it's a sock than when it's a real person.
And like I promised, we raised that bar, right? So we added a bunch of stuff we've never had before. One of the things is that digital content that we talked about, because we have to make sure we're reaching the people at home and the people in the office. We brought on Snack Attack. We also decided, you know, everyone loves coffee. Why not do a coffee truck? This is the disclaimer, guys. It's like a wedding, planning Security Awareness Week. You're going to plan for 365 days. Something's going to go wrong. We live in Iowa. You guys, you know, probably local here in Nebraska, somewhere around there, Midwest. Guess what happens in October? It gets very cold. Coffee truck can't work in the morning, but you want to know what didn't happen? Our users were not mad that they got their free cup of joe at lunch instead of in the morning. So just remember, go with the flow, have a backup plan, and make sure you have a way to communicate out any changes when you're doing your Security Awareness Week. All that swag we keep talking about up here. Anything Erin could find to put a sock puppet on, we did. Coffee cups, blankets, little lanyard clips, we put them everywhere. One thing that we've done every year, but we branded this year, right? We had that booth or kind of a room where anyone could come in and kind of play with cybersecurity fun. We labeled it Cyber Island this year. We had all of our sock puppets. We had our evil access point here, right? Our pineapple. We really like showing them this pineapple because, one, how easy is it? We all know, super easy to set up this pineapple and rogue access points, and it's actually super easy to accidentally connect to one. So by us being able to show that to our users, it protects not only them when they're at work and using their work devices, but them at home. And that's one thing that we drive home with Security Awareness Week is it's for you at home and at work, right? We care about you at home too. We have the trivia. If you see the spinny wheel, Erin, I think, saw about everyone that was in the office, 5, 6. How many swag items do we have? And it's because they don't get swag for wrong answers. But if you answer a security question right, pick your swag. So that was super popular. The sock puppets, you can't see it, but we also had a place for everyone to come down and make their own sock puppet. Because what we offered them was take a picture of your sock puppet, send it into cyber response. Remember that button everyone knows about? Send it into our cyber response, and the winners could potentially win a cameo in one of our upcoming security awareness videos. Holy buckets, did we have submissions? Like they said, everyone loved a sock puppet, and I'm pretty sure almost everyone in the office made one. So we also decide, you know, phishing, we don't like status quo. We always like to up that bar. So we introduced for the first time at our org, spear phishing. So every user on top of the quarterly all-staff phish that they get a honed in, a little tougher, right? We raised that bar a little bit, looks a little more realistic, just so we can see and gauge, are our users actually going to fall for those really well-done phish? I mean, we've all seen the Nigerian prints. Those are easy. But what about those ones that they actually look like DocuSign, right? Are they going to click that? Probably. But let's get that out in front of them first so we know what to expect. Let's see. What else did we do? Oh, yeah. So we have analysts, right? Comes onto the team. He asks, can I ask a question? We said, absolutely not. So he goes, we have new employee orientation. Erin's there. She goes over how to identify a phishing email. Why are we not sending them their custom new employee orientation like phish? We don't know. That's a great idea. So guess what? He got more work. He got to build out, you know, that phishing pretext, work with Erin. And now every month they send that out. So it's real life. Erin gets to say, go to your email. Let's go and actually click, walk through this, push that button, submit it to cyber response, right? So we know from start to finish that they know exactly what to do and how to report that information. And one of the things that we really, really liked this year was brand new. A little scary. The day before, we're all geared up to go. We have like 2 people signed up. But because this was Katie's brainchild, I'm going to let her talk about it. How about this escape room, Katie?
So this last year we decided to do an escape room, and this was one of my random shower thoughts while I was massaging my brain. Like, we need to do an escape room. How cool would that be? And then I texted these 2 and told them and imagined what the looks on their faces were or their reactions.
She always thinks of me in the shower, and I don't know why.
That wasn't quite the reaction I was going with. More like, what are you thinking? Because our schedule is already packed, already crazy, and you want to add more stuff. But we did anyways. So we started with a fun backstory just to get people's attention. And then we added the different puzzles. Every puzzle, because we wanted this to be educational, we tied to an objective. Also because I am really nerdy like that I think stuff should relate together, even if it shouldn't. Teams of 6 people could compete against each other. They had 20 minutes to escape, and the top 5 teams with the fastest time got prizes. Once again, everybody loves prizes, and everybody loves to compete. Abbie said that there were only a few signups. About the end of day 1, we were actually making more time slots and having people ask us to come to their department meetings and set this up for them, just because word got out of how cool is this? You get to, spend 20 minutes, try to figure out how to get out of this room. Something I do need to note on this, 98% of the materials in this escape room are things I found around the office. Also, things I found around the house, because people in technology are hoarders. Even if you don't think you are, you are. Somewhere I have a web router that, why not? So the cost of this was extremely low. This in itself allowed us to engage more people in the enterprise, broader audience, fun atmosphere at a very low cost.
And it got us a lot of press.
It did. So security awareness, it's an ongoing evolution. And here are some things, some lessons, some things we've learned along the way to share with you. 1, constantly reassess. Erin redid the training how many times? Over. And did you do it because you were bored?
Yes.
That's what I thought. But you have to reassess because you have new threat actors, you have new technology. We have to learn about that, and then we have to go and educate our workforce on that. So we have to constantly reassess that type of thing. In addition to that, the CTF that started in 2017 has been going extinct. Our participation numbers have been going lower and lower. So this year, we're not going to do a CTF. We're going to replace it with something else. You have to appease the people. Security awareness is not a box you check to say, I did it, good job out of me. This has an impact on your workforce. Make it a positive impact. Make it something they'll remember, just make it something, I guess. Try it. If it epically sucks, don't do it again. If it kind of sucks, make some tweaks and then try it again. The worst that can happen is it fails and, at least you tried. And finally, make friends. So they both have talked about working with HR. We've worked with compliance, physical security, invited them to our stuff. We go to their stuff. It helps to have those partnerships and relationships in the workforce. Here is some of the things that have been part of our evolution this year. So about last November, we started walking around the building and laying out friendly reminders with a treat for people that leave their devices unlocked and unattended. We are reassessing, how do we follow up with these people? Do we need to have additional training, more reminders? What can we do to engage the workforce of, this is not good, please don't do it? Our new this year, we are going to try Cyber Jeopardy during Security Awareness Week. We kind of did a run through. We have some tweaks to make. We'll see how it goes. Fingers crossed. It's gonna be awesome. And a new and improved password checker that we're using for Security Awareness Week. It keep opening back there, and I have this up here. And then the relationship point. So that picture is part of my team with HR. We are not talking about security awareness. We're not talking about security. We're at a high school STEM event to talk about technology opportunities after high school and the health insurance. So that's kind of the, hey, we'll help you, you help us, let's build that relationship. And finally, since we can't reuse the escape room because everybody knows the answers, or they might remember them, they might not. We could probably run 2. Maybe. Let's not. Our theme this year is Ancient Egypt. We do all of this stuff for the people. So it goes back to appeasing the people. Security awareness is of the people, for the people, by the people.
All right. We're almost done, I promise. You guys can go.
All right, so we need to send you off with how to get started in your organization. So I've got a couple quick points. The first thing you can do is just take some ownership. Even if security awareness is not your job, you have the ability to help people do better. You can help take away the boogeyman of cybersecurity, even if it's just for one person. So I hope that you all see the value that you can bring and you go back and engage somehow, get involved. Security is everybody's job. So, make that effort. Education is worth it. Educating your users is worth it. And there's something that both every user can be engaged by and every one of us security professionals can do to engage our users. It's worth our time. It's absolutely essential that we find those opportunities to step out into the light, to, take away that boogeyman, to make people more secure, because when secure people come to work, we have secure organizations. You don't have to do anything huge. Just start small. Just do something little. Like you saw, we started from a newsletter and a couple of slides. And now this is like half my job now. It's what we do. It's all the time. You don't have to do things huge. You can do stuff on a budget. Like I said, we started our phishing campaigns off doing it ourselves for like $15 a quarter. The escape room cost almost nothing. You don't have to spend a ton of money. Yeah, I spent a bunch of money on those videos, but that was a different decision. Find those ways that you can get involved. Build your relationships, build your bridges, build your partnerships. Utilize those relationships to, put security out there. If you don't have a budget and you don't have a staff, but you have new hire training, we'll get somebody to be in new hire training and bring security to the new hires. Start a security week. Do some lunch and learns. Do articles or videos, something little. It doesn't have to be huge. Find those partners in your organization that you can kind of like hitch your wagon onto and pull yourself out there. And last, you've got to find a sponsor. That's one of the things I don't think we could have been as successful as we are without our sponsor, Andy. Thank you, Andy. I think it's essential that you find somebody who can make a case for you at a high level, that'll swing the bat for you and say security is important. Security is something that the people need. And back you up on all the crazy ideas that you come up with that will challenge you every year and say, what are you going to do this year that you didn't do last year? And will, beg for forgiveness if needed. And he's had to do it before. Thank you very much.
All right. So we really, really hope that you can at least take maybe half an idea, 1, 2 ideas back and implement this into your org. And with that, if you have any questions, too fucking bad. No. Now is the time for questions, if anyone has any. Yeah.
Okay. Can you
How do
say
you
that?
measure?
Say that again. Right. Okay, yeah. So we do a lot of stuff to make them, to get them there, to try to stuff the information into them. And so, yes, you're there to do the escape room for fun. The outcome of that, oh, Jim, I'm too shifty for him. So, the outcome of that is, we don't have tons of security incidents. Our users come to us with, risks. They report the risks to us. They report the phishing to us. They ask the questions. I feel that we see the fruit of our work in the engagement we get from our people. And then also because I'm the incident response manager in the number of incidents that we deal with.
I noticed you said software developers and not secure developers.
Yeah.
Take away their access.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that is actually an area that in our organization we're still kind of working on that. It's a hard place to kind of break through. I feel like to be successful getting other technology people to be on board with security stuff, you have to find a way, to get them interested, but to make them feel like they're a partner in it. And they're not a victim of you.
Yeah, we have that privileged access training, so they get to talk to our security officer, and they know very clearly what is expected and what they can and cannot do.
And so, I mean, we do that kind of privileged access training. It's more to communicate the repercussions of using it inappropriately. I would really like to move into, in the next couple of years, doing like secure developer training and working with people, best practices. When people are doing best practices, we win, it's the right thing. So, but I feel like from a psychological standpoint, because I have 98% of a degree in psychology, that you have to get them to buy into it. So I think you've got to make them a partner in it.
And we're running really, really short.
Yeah.
But what do you got right here? We have one more. We fired them. No. So that is the hatchery, right? So they kind of have an escalation pattern, right? So the first time you're in the hatchery, you get your meeting with your boss, you get the meeting with our big boss, right? You get that face to face. And it's kind of scary having to sit down with that security official and your boss saying you did bad, right? Do it again, second time, kind of the same thing. Third time, it's subject to termination. So we really do have that escalation path to say if you're too big of a risk for our org, we're going to ask you to go find somewhere else to work.
But I will say the personal touch of having a conversation with Andy, who in these conversations is just communicating the risk. He's not saying you did something bad, you did something wrong. He's telling you why we need to do the other thing. That absolutely makes a difference because nobody has to have that conversation twice.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.